Hello, learners. My name is Miss Ifeanyi Joseph. Welcome to today's English class. And in today's class, we're going to be looking at the topic titled Punctuation. We're going to be looking at the topic titled Punctuation. So, in today's class, we're going to be looking at what punctuation is, the various types of punctuation marks we have, and how and where can we use these punctuation marks. We're also going to be looking at why it is very essential for us to use punctuations when writing. This and many more is what we're going to be looking at in today's class. It promises to be fun, it promises to be exciting, and at the end of the day, it promises that you're going to be learning something new in today's class. So stay tuned and learn something new. Let's begin. So we're going to be starting it. What is punctuation? Now, punctuation can be defined as a set of symbols used in writing to help clarify the meaning of sentences and to separate different parts of sentences. So now we use punctuation when we're writing. We use it to help explain what we're writing, and we use it to make whatever we're writing to make sense to whoever is reading it. Punctuations are very, very essential because without this set of symbols, our write-ups are not going to make meaning to whoever comes across it. So we're going to be looking at various punctuation marks, and we're going to be starting with the period. The period is also known as full stop, which we are very familiar with. So now this period is a little dot, just like you can see on your screen there. Now what do we use this period for? A period is used at the end of a sentence that tells something. We use a period at the end of a sentence that tells something. So period are basically used at the end of every sentence. Like the example you have on the screen, she walked to the store. You can see the period is used at the end of the sentence there, at the end of after store. This is telling us that that is the end of that sentence. So period is a very essential punctuation mark we use in writing that tells us that this sentence has come to an end. The next one we're going to be looking at is the exclamation point. The exclamation point. Now, an exclamation point is used to show excitement or a strong feeling. We use exclamations to show excitement or a strong feeling to convey that, okay, this person is excited or this thing is exciting. We make use of our exclamation point. You can see an example on your screen. Wow, that is amazing. Wow, that's amazing. So you can see the exclamation mark is written at the end of amazing, which is to tell us that, which is to express excitement or a strong feeling. So once again, we use our exclamation point for what? To show excitement or strong feeling. The next one we're looking at is the question mark. Now, a question mark is used at the end of a sentence that asks something or that asks a question. We use the question mark at the end of a sentence that asks a question. Just like we have our period that we use at the end of a sentence that tells something. In this case, we're using a question mark at the end of a sentence that asks a question. We can see it on the screen. What time is it? What time is it? You can see the question mark there at the end. This is telling us that this is a question. So whenever you are writing anything and it has to do with a question, you must indicate your question mark. This is to tell the readers or whoever come across what you are writing that this is a question. So once again, we use our question mark at the end of a sentence that asks a question. The next one we're going to be looking at is the apostrophe. Now, an apostrophe is the symbol is very similar to comma, but the difference between comma and this is that you use comma when you're writing your sentences, you put comma below, but your apostrophe is placed at the top. Now we use an apostrophe to show possession or make contractions. We use an apostrophe to show possession or make contraction. When you are mentioning and you want to like indicate that this thing belongs to a particular person in your write-up, you make use of apostrophe. When you are making contractions in your sentences, you make use of apostrophe. Now, in the example we have on the screen, we can see how apostrophe is used in the two purposes. It's Sarah's book. Now we have an apostrophe symbol between T and S because that is a contraction. It is. It's a contraction. It's. So we use that apostrophe sign there to show that that's a contraction. Sarah's book. The apostrophe is used between H and S to show that the book belonged to Sarah. This is indicating possession. It's Sarah's book. So that is how you use your apostrophe when writing to show possession or to make contractions. The next punctuation mark symbol we're going to be looking at is the quotation marks. The quotation marks. Once again, this symbol is very similar to your comma and your apostrophe. It's just that in this case, the quotation marks appears double. Two commas two, it appears double, and they are used at the beginning and at the ending. We use quotation marks to show when someone is speaking. You use quotation marks to show the exact words a person said. When you are writing and you want to indicate that this particular sentence is actually the exact words of the person, you make use of your quotation mark. We have an example of the screen. She said, let's play a game. Now that let's play a game is indicating the actual words of the person. She said, let's play a game. It's actually you can see the quotation mark written at the beginning of let and another one written at the end of game. This is telling us that let's play a game is actually the actual words said by the person. So when you want to talk about the actual words said by a person, you make use of your quotation marks. That indicates that whatever words that quotation mark was used is the actual words said by the person. The next punctuation mark we're going to be looking at is the colon. The colon is used to introduce a list or explanation. We use the colon to introduce a list or explanation. Example, you need to bring the following. You can see the colon is used at the end of following. Then you have pencils, papers, and erasers. Pencil, paper. So your columns are essentially two dots up and down together, two dots up and down. So we use colon once you introduce a list or explanation. You need to bring the flowers. A colon is added, pencils, papers, and erasers. So this shows us that this list now is the colon is introducing that list, telling us that pencils, papers, and erasers. So that's what you can use colon for to introduce a list or to make an explanation. The next thing we're looking at is the semicolon. The semicolon is used to connect closely related ideas or separate items in a complex list. The semicolon is used to connect closely related ideas or separate items in a complex list. So your semicolon is actually similar to your colon. Your colon, you have two dots up and down, but your semicolon, you have a dot up and then a comma below. So that's the difference between your semicolon and your colon. So your semicolon is used to connect closely related ideas or separate items in a complex list. We have an example on the screen. I have a big test tomorrow. We can see the semicolon used at the end of tomorrow. I can't go out tonight. So this is actually used to separate I have a big test tomorrow and I can't go out tonight. So it's a little bit more complex than when you are separating pencil, eraser, and bags. So this is a little bit more complexly. So that's where you can make use of something like colon, your semicolon to like separate this kind of list. So you use your semicolon to connect closely related ideas or separate items in a complex list. Now, punctuation helps readers to understand structure and flow of written language, and it makes it easier to read and comprehend. Now, when you use punctuation marks in your writings, it makes it very easy for whoever is reading it to understand what you are trying to pass across. And when you are reading something, a piece that is properly written with the appropriate punctuation marks, it is easier for you to read and able to understand what that piece is actually about. So punctuation marks are very, very essential in English language when writing. Now, I have an illustration on the screen for you. You can look at see it now. Why punctuation marks are important? Now, I have two separate right up there. One with punctuation, the other without punctuation. Now, let's look at it together. The first one that has punctuation, let's eat grammar. Let's eat grammar. Let's eat grammar. You can see punctuation marks. You have your apostrophe, you have your comma, and you have your exclamation mark. Now you can see the comma at the end of it kind of separates it. Let's eat grandma. Let's eat grandma. Then we have the other one that doesn't have a single punctuation mark. It says let's eat grandma. Let's eat grammar. So can you see the difference between the two? One is saying let's eat grammar, like an invitation to grammar to join them to eat. Then we have let's eat grammar, a statement saying that they want to actually eat grammar. So can you see how punctuation marks has helped add meaning to this sentence? So that's why it is very important in writing. It sheds a different light to whatever you're writing when you use punctuation marks. It makes it so much easier for whoever is reading it to understand it. So, if you have gotten to this place, thank you very much for staying tuned and listening to today's class. I hope you've learned a lot about punctuation marks, and I hope moving forward in whatever you are writing, you're going to make sure that the appropriate punctuations are used. I can't wait to see all the amazing things you'll be writing and all the amazing things you'll be doing with this information. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you in the next class.